Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
This man is not a hero, he's a criminal.
Shut up!
Hello, everybody, sirs and madams. It's your buddy Admiral Teague. Welcome to Landman Live. We just watched yet another episode of Taylor Sheridan's show, Landman. It is episode 2 of season 2. It is called Sins of the Father, and we're ready to get the panel reaction. I'll hold mine till the end, but I'll give you all a chance to vote on what you thought of the episode in our channel poll. So if you're coming through later, please don't consider hitting that like button. And if you're here now, you can do that too as well. Hype us, watch with the browser tab open for a little while, and just help us get our analytic up there. We seem to be the only people doing Landman, and we're glad to have you here. You know what? Welcome to the show. Radioactive, we just saw episode 2 of season 2, Sins of the Father. The plot advanced about 1/8 of the way. It felt like we got about as far as an episode should go, in my opinion. That might be as meaningless as saying the trees were the right height, but starting with my good friend Resolute Germ. Germ, what did you think of the episode?
Well, I like the episode. As you said, the story is progressing at a pace it should, and especially with Sam Elliott, I like pretty much all the things they're doing to present him. Just old, bitter, that has great knowledge.
Yeah. And by the way, I just for anyone who might have been wondering, I did set up a stream for this on Bumble. However, Bumble was not able to process it and forgot about it, and now there is no way to do anything in time. So that, once again, as I like to say, blew up on the pad. But hey, I tried. Anyway, welcome to everybody watching over on the YouTube side for this now YouTube exclusive. We got Miskatonic Madman. Hello, sir. Deadman79. Sir, good to see you too. Buddy Hepburn, Jonathan Hancock. Welcome, my friend. It's nice to see you. Radioactive Actual is in the chat and here. We've got a full house, and it's good to see everyone. Look, Germ, you said you enjoyed the episode, especially the parts with Sam Elliott. In general, the story advanced about as much as we thought. Do you have a high or a low of this episode that stood out to you?
Not so much a low, but a high. The funny parts with the wife and daughter.
They are now established as they're going to be comic relief every week, aren't they?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay, let's take a move on up the totem pole and ask Radioactive. Radioactive, we just watched episode 2 of season 2. What do you think so far? 2 episodes in, how do you feel about season 2?
Pretty good. I don't think it was as good as the starter episode this season, but it's still up there.
I would agree with you that it's probably not quite as good as the first episode. It definitely It had wasn't as dramatic, didn't have as many events. This was like a slower day for Tommy and our heroes. But was there a high or a low of the episode that stood out to you?
Well, for me, the low was a return to the subplot storyline with the ladies. I didn't think that was quite as good this time. Last week was really funny. This week was kind of mid.
So we saw this joke before. They're going to keep playing on it and seeing if they can't do a variation on it to make it funny. It's they're not going to go to a new place and do more outrageous stuff. Like they've settled into being a menace at the old folks' home. And hello, Chucker Martin. It's good to see you. And it's good to see Buddy swinging the wrench for us. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, so that part was interesting. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was pretty good. Let's go and move on to Krimlon. Krimlon, after seeing season 2, episode 2, Sins of the Father, what did you think?
I thought it was a good episode. I do have to agree with Jerome. There were some aspects that were slight downgrade for me. At least that's how I felt. Mostly having to do with the women.
They're open to being called out as shallow or even possibly mean.
Yeah, I think it's this time around. It's all 3 women,
including Rebecca. Rebecca shows up, guys. She's back.
That's definitely the low point for me.
Yes, so
she has become sort of a loathsome creature. Okay. But what did you think? Pretty good?
It was interesting. I think it established what I kind of already thought was going to happen. That was the father, and it was the mother that died. So I think it's going on at a good pace at the moment. So far, not too bad.
A high or a low that stood out for you?
I think one of the lows is I think it's with the wife and the daughter. To be honest, I felt it more of annoying and forced to this episode.
It's open to that speculation. All right, now I'll go. I thought that the high point of the episode and the low point of the episode sort of overlapped. It's that, yeah, it was that scene in the old folks' home. It was funny, and it was as funny as could be, but they act so bad that you're almost cringing. You're like, and then when you realize that, yeah, you know what, there are people like out there in the world that are this sort of facile, and then there's like, you know, people stuck in old folks' homes where it's a drag, and we spend like 25% of this episode between the 2 old folks' homes and assisted living facilities where it's just presented as like the back end of your life's going to suck. It's going to be terrible. And Sam Elliott is great. There's enormous weight to his scene. Again, it's held to one scene. And I also, because of the limitations they give in the character, I wonder how mobile Sam is in real life. But it was real good, his scene, and the episode sort of built up to it. Tommy Norris is a based but emotionless man who has been messed up by the life that led him to be the person he is. He can't have fun drinking on a Gulf Stream with the love of his life anymore. Like, fun's just a thing that, like, I hadn't had fun since George W. Bush was president or something like that. Like, he's just, he is an enormously enjoyable person to watch, but he is devoid of any, like, he's almost devoid of joy. We saw that, like, the most fun he could have is, like, he's sort of relieved, I guess, seems to be the way it is, that his mother is gone. He's his usual, it seems his pretty much his usual self is he's in that car driving about 5 of the 9 hours of every day that he spends working. And he has an animated, angry, based shouting match with his radio, which is honestly right on point for this fucking crazy character that we've been watching for 2 seasons now, or parts of 2 seasons now. And I also thought that the Monty's family part of this, which would be Monty has $420 million missing dollars that we've got to catch up to. And Demi Moore seems to have a pretty good idea that they ain't getting it back. Like he went to Vegas with it or something. But for whatever reason, and it seems to be nefarious stuff is implied, he's worked together with the oil company backers and the insurance company to get like a real generous payout on. They had like a shallow water horizon, for lack of a better term. They had an offshore oil well, seemingly in the Gulf, and it was taken out by a hurricane, and insurance paid it off. And that's not doing so badly for them right now. And on the other side of our story, we see our pal Cooper. Cooper is at his 6th well. It's the same scene as last week, basically, where they're going back and forth, nervous about the technical aspects of drilling. And this week, they do even better than last. They have an unexpected gusher and take like a $70,000 shower. We say that only because there's a whole lot of oil, but the way it's shooting out of the ground, we have to remember that, like, part of the meta of this show is that, like, even if this oil is worth, like, real life more money, the amount of money they have to put into the oil to make more money out of it is like he's got so many front-loaded costs from finding this oil that it almost breaks him. And we have deduced that it destroyed his phone, but it could have just made his phone unusable, or he could have like just simply forgot to charge his phone. Bottom line is this has now happened. He's hit 6 of 6 wells. He's having unprecedented luck. And last week he was saying that he was going to have like, what was it, $10 million a year? So now we've upgraded to like 60, maybe $80 million a year. The guy who's the head of rigging for this organization that Cooper has started with a bad loan. And boy, are we going to find out about that loan at the end of the episode. It's fairly well built. He has a good crew. They're having success everywhere. And Cooper's method of using almost a BA in geology to figure out this well-drilled patch and probably pulling up some seismic government charts and stuff too seems to have worked out for him. I see we have a lot of people coming through. Please do me a favor, hit the like and follow buttons. If you haven't joined my channel, join me. You will be well treated. So we see Cooper. He's having unprecedented good luck right away, super front loaded. I would just like to start with Germ and then work my way up again the totem pole. Germ, Cooper's situation here, gusher after gusher. This is beyond belief for Cooper. He hasn't seen success like this, and neither has Tommy. This is one of the wells blowing up right here. They can't back out the drill head in time and seal it off in time. It's just so rich, and Cooper has got this figured out. He's going to explain it technically a little later on. We'll get into it, but it turns out Cooper has figured out something endemic to the patch that no one else has. It hasn't dawned on anyone else yet. Monty wasn't smart enough, and it's not big enough for anyone else to have thought it through, is the guess I'm taking. Germ, Cooper's luck, and Cooper's change of fortune since season 1. Talk to me.
It's great. I don't know what they have planned for him, but you get the feeling that all this luck is going to come back and bite him on the back end. Probably with his little girlfriend, but
well, it's starting to haunt him with her sooner rather than later. But yeah, he's haunted by there's several things going on, guys. He was kind of banking on mostly failing or only having some success or breaking even. Instead, it's like gangbusters. And I would just say right away, the smart move seems to be join MTEX now. Radioactive, what did you think of Cooper's new dilemma? He's filthy rich, and in the sense of he gets rich and he gets filthy doing it.
Well, I agree with Jeremy. You know there's going to be a curveball thrown at him with this thing. He couldn't have this type of blind luck and not have something else happen. But we'll find out how things balance out, so to speak.
Sorry, I was double muted there. No, I'm here. All right, Kremlin, now it's your turn. You see Cooper having this incredible luck. This is a hell of a gusher. The well just starts like spitting oil. It is just Saudi soda everywhere. The Beverly Hillbillies never had a day this good. What did you think of this moment here?
I think, where it transitioned a little bit later on. I think you can tell around this scene, he's starting to get the look on his face like something doesn't seem right. and a little later on you'll explain it. But I think this does kind of like was it German radioactives were alluding to. I think there's something definitely going to be coming down the pike that it may not be all that great for him. I think there's definitely something interesting about to happen.
Our fellow landman Wes Cagle with a very generous $5 United States of America super chat. I want to thank you so much, Wes Cagle. He says, "Hey guys, I can't stay. I still haven't watched these episodes. Have a great stream. You know what? We'll sit down and like marathon them or something, or we'll set you up with a way to watch them because they have been great, and we've missed you on the Landman panel. It is going to be a great stream. I am already just excited about this one, and again, what did you think of his dilemma here? That do you think maybe I'm onto something? What do you think of this one? This is about how good things were going for Tommy when it all blew up, which is why he's freaking out a little bit too.
Yeah, it's quite a bit overwhelming. I also do think that he's kind of starting to come to the realization of what he's hit 6 for 6, which is a big time statistical anomaly. So something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't feel right.
He's able to justify it perfectly, but the fact of the matter is this is unprecedented. Good luck, Marty, the rigger who knows. Marty, the guy who does rigging. Marty, the guy who does rigging, who knows Tommy and is known to Tommy and knows what he's doing. He has said this is like, I ain't never seen anybody get this lucky, and I've known a few people. So the problem right now is that he's got so much resource he doesn't know what to do with it. The problem seems to be staring him into the face. Sell everything to MTEX, talk to Cammy, get a decent price for it. Come on as like Tommy's like protege with your own like junior vice presidentship, so to have something and a signing bonus. You've got all these lots. 6 of 6 have hit. You're already good for, what did they say, 70,000 barrels a week? It's an insane amount of oil. And Cooper's justification is that by putting together the clues and looking at the topographical maps of who struck and who didn't, he realized that the oil reserve was great and under pressure. And is it 7,000 barrels? Is it a week or a day?
It's 7. It's 7. But it was 7,000.
7,000 barrels a day. So 4.9 trillion barrels a week, if I did the math right, of oil, which would be $260,000 an hour. No, I don't know. He's rich beyond our wildest dreams of avarice. $7,000 of oil. They say at this moment it was trading at $74, which, by the way, have you noticed it's tanked $5 since the beginning of the show when Monty was trading the oil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
Not trillions. But yeah, I think there was a little bit of exaggeration there. But nonetheless.
I'd like to do a little truthful hyperbole and seem a little more out of it for comic purposes. I know what's going on for the most part.
I think also was coming up soon. You start realizing that he's not rich yet, and he
has the means to be rich, but he has like 2 major tactical. One's like technical, and logistical, and one's financial and like legal. He has to jump these 2 hurdles, but he has everything. He has everything he needs to do it, but like now he needs real skilled people to pull off the jump and some code.
Well, where did he get the money from? Who did he get the loan from? All the other stuff that goes into it too.
The episode.
Yes.
We find out at the end of the episode. We don't want to spoil our own review, guys. But you know what? Black Gold, everything's great. Ariana's calling. She wants to talk to Cooper. They gave her a new haircut. It's sassy and sexy. It looks great. They gave her usual halter top, but now it's a belly shirt. She has whipped herself back into shape from having that baby. She looks fantabulous. And now we're starting to see why someone would really be in love with her. She's like really fucking hot. And you know what? Like she can't take this bullshit. And I don't know what to make of. Is this lady just not a great actress? Because shouldn't she be speaking closely to pidgin English? Shouldn't he be needing to speak some Spanish to help her through? The level of disengagement she has, the inability to navigate. He's worth $10 million, and he truly loves her, and he's not that bad of a guy. She knows he's good-hearted, but she's getting the cold feet that she had for 1 minute in episode 9.5. Like at the end of episode 9, when for a minute she was like, maybe I'm wrong. And she seemed to snap right out of that, and now she's right back to, You know, I didn't really spend much time processing the guilt of my 4-month-old baby's father.
I think they don't want her on the show anymore.
Jerem had said this is a great reason for her not to be around, but what I said was this is one of your least expensive cast members and your most sympathetic person on the show. What you have to do is, how about this? She gets a job working at the coffee place and she wears a bikini.
I'll take that.
I'll take it, but I don't see it happening though.
It's probably
She
not
could be
going to
at
happen.
Patches. She could be at Patches.
She could work at the Patch Cafe. She does have FU money. Her house is paid off. She has a few years of health insurance, enough to get by on. She would have to start working by the time the kids start school, but she with a little bit of management, as long as the economy doesn't tank out, she'll be okay. Oh, by the way, Tommy hears on the radio the economy is about to tank out while he's yelling at the radio like the crazy man that he is. Cooper comes home. He says his phone died. That is not the kind of explanation that Jerem and I needed. We needed to hear my phone got destroyed or my phone ran out of power. If it ran out of power, he's got no excuse because he could charge it in the truck. So I'm assuming it means that the phone was destroyed in the oil strike? Is oil a
That's what I was
conductant? Does anyone here qualified to tell me that an oil strike would destroy the phone?
Well, if you covered the whole phone in oil, that might be a problem.
It's crude, but I guess it's oil, right? What is it when it comes out of the ground? What do we call it? Crude?
Yes. You've
Raw,
not been
crude,
around any of this
unrefined,
stuff,
crude.
have you?
No, he hasn't. It
I,
is pretty,
what are you
it's
talking
pretty.
about?
nasty.
I have 12 episodes of Landman
Okay.
experience now. I'm like a roughneck.
It's a pretty nasty substance. Let's just put it like that.
Let's put it this way: it's a less viscous
understand
form
it.
of tar.
Oh,
You ever
I understand.
like road tar?
It's basically tar. Yes.
It's like
I
tar.
don't-
except
it's
a little
friendly
bit more
asphalt.
liquidy. It's like more liquidy and not as hot. Asphalt would be very hot.
Is this stuff coming out closest in like its consistency to like the bunker oil from a boat?
Probably.
Does this go-
I mean, it's
does-
it's thicker than that,
It's
but
pretty
yeah,
horrible.
it's
It'll wreck your phone. It'll
Why-
make your
it
phone
wrecks
unusable.
everything.
okay.
It wrecks
so
everything.
in the scene right after this, she says, "Okay, now toss all your clothes into the garbage bag." Why? Because they're
It seems like she's being nice and normal too.
it's because they're destroyed. Because the only way you're going to get those clothes clean is basically you
Well,
got to
those
use
clothes are destroyed.
cleaners for it.
Well,
don't
he
even
just
need a
made
cleaner.
$10 million
You
bucks.
just
He,
throw it away.
he can afford a whole new
That or
outfit. Yeah.
light a fire in the back and throw them on the fire.
Yeah,
when
you're not
you have
wearing
a
those
$10
again.
million day, you just toss your clothes and walk away. She gives him a garbage bag and he just tosses the clothes in there. And the thing is, then she gets wacky with him and she's a bitch. I mean, like, she does tell him she knows how to be an oil man's girlfriend. He's like, I need dish soap. She's like, don't try to tell me how to be an oil man's girlfriend. And she's like, look, man, for 4 hours, I couldn't get through to you. What the fuck? And at this point, I'm thinking Cooper could have solved this problem with her anxiety about him by saying, look, honey, from now on, I put my phone in a fucking sandwich bag. It's made from oil, so I trust it. It'll keep the phone from getting destroyed, and I'll leave it in the truck because you know what? Now that I've gone 6 of 6, I have no right not to expect to hit oil. And you know what? You're right to be scared, so I'll do the right thing. Let's see if I can't get your comments up on screen. Welcome aboard, everybody. You can save the boots. I wish you would give... Those boots had broken in. You know what? I did think that those boots looked like they had like, yeah, the proper kind of care given to them. Like, they're ready to go. Like, absolutely soaked in like the 6 straight oil strikes. I'm assuming a couple of them didn't go this sloppily, but he does, like, at this point, Ariane is just like, I don't know if she breaks up with him, but she's like, don't come around here no more, get your own place, and get the fuck out. And we roll credits. What did you think of Ariana finally having the delayed reaction sticker shock to my baby daddy is dead. My life is here. I don't want... And she says to him, what was weird is she goes, your dream was to be rich. It's not mine. And I'm thinking... But he does love you.
At risk of sounding sexist, I'm going to be sexist. She is a woman.
That seems to be the
Exactly.
show doing it. The show seems to be saying this too. The show does seem to be saying, like, you know, things are going just a little bit too well for Cooper. Let's throw him a curveball, and that will be that Ariana now is missing not so much Elvio, but the reputation she had before her husband got killed and she started dating someone from the same crew like the same day. I'm going to imagine that leaves a dent. She looks kind of like a little crass and a little creepy to the people in town, and it's not like we don't see why. I don't know why she thinks she's going to win him back, but I do understand why she's flip-flopping. If you've dated in the world of men and women, you've seen this kind of thing happen. And is this where we check in with Boss real quick and his boys, or no? Here's Ariana throwing him out. Anybody want to comment on her nice, cool new anime haircut?
They didn't want to style it too well because she's in this for about 2 minutes, and I don't think we're going to see her again until at least episode 5.
Bedhead.
She does look like she has bedhead. You know what? My thought is that we will see her in every episode, but we're going to get very small little doses, Tiona rainwater-sized doses for our 1923 friends. She'll show up for 4 or 5 minutes. I bet you she works at a Greasy Spoon or a daycare center, or she goes somewhere and try. She might be out there getting a lawyer to sue Monty's widow again from another angle or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? The show seems to, when we end this week, it seems we're set up. What I thought would be a Texas-sized funeral this week turned into Texas-sized funeral prep. I don't think they can kick the can on that funeral another week. It's possible that by the end of the week, but next week, we could begin next week could end with them stepping into the funeral, but I think it's more likely we fast forward through the funeral and start with them stepping out. I don't know if we're going to see this funeral at all. It seems like it's going to be a shit show.
Am I the only one that kind of just started losing respect for this character? I mean, I understood
Ariana,
where she was in the
acting
beginning.
flaky.
Yeah, it was a...
The character doesn't bother me as much as just I think that side quest is a little bit flat in terms of storyline.
Yeah,
They had
something
to
just
give
doesn't
her
seem
this,
right.
They gave her this problem to add drama to the situation. I don't know why they didn't have her staked in with the Wells, like having some of the front money in this. At the end, the person who holds the note in these Wells is such a bad problem for Cooper that you don't even want to play around. But who knows? Like, maybe in the real world, he'll play legit. Like, you just don't know. But Cooper continuing to process this problem. And here's where we see Landman, living his life. He's yelling at the radio. He's telling the DJs to shut the fuck up. They're listening to the economy. And they pin this in time. And what we find out is this is just about Halloween. It's the end of October. Because they say it's the 9th month of the new administration and their policies are starting to have an effect on the market. And then it's like, they don't really play sides or favorites. It's just like, the economy real volatile right now. Oil is at, and when they quote the price, it's like $74.50 or something. And it's like, wow, that's down quite a bit since Monty was speculating at $75.79. So, Tommy is yelling at them about how the demand will affect the price of diesel, which will give people more money to spend on the goods that will be more plentiful, and there'll be an economic upturn. And then the radio DJs echo it, and he starts yelling at them to shut the fuck up and play a song. And then we sort of hear a song that's appropriate. It's a good country western song, but I don't know if it's the in-world song. But then we hear the monster movie music, and Tommy has a call with Angela, and she has very little empathy about the mom being dead. They don't really touch on it too deeply. She talks to him, he talks to her, just basically about like his day and what he's going to be doing. And it's really not that big of a deal. Just like another conversation with Angela. She's going to go out to do the work of the Lord at the old folks' home. And we'll get there. Believe me, you want to be here for that part. This is just Tommy's day. I don't know if there's anything else to say. This is an average day for Tommy, so say we all. This is him in his office. And after a while, he gets a call from Cooper as well saying, we got to talk. We got you. You're the only person I know who knows how to move this stuff. Luckily, you're my dad. So, Germ, Tommy's based rant at the radio in the car. You want to talk about this for a minute here? Character building for Tommy, or we were just enjoying him in his world? This seems like a normal morning, by the way. He didn't seem any more upset by the death of his mom or less. was like a 2
No,
cigarette difference in his anger.
This is his normal day. He's yelling at those radio hosts every morning.
Has he ever called into the show, or will he by the end of the season? That would be great. Would it be great if he called the show? How great would it be if he called their show?
Good. That would be entertaining. I don't see it happening though.
He can't keep his mouth together to talk to on the radio.
They have to work in one of these rants every episode, because he had to rant at the breakfast table last episode. He had that big rant on the windmills in season 1. They saw how well that did. I think they're going to work in just a little tiny Tommy rant in at least most of the episodes.
I think, you know what, we found out that a based rant from Tommy is real amazing. Can we give this guy a YouTube channel? I mean, he is like petrochemical version of like Nerdrotic or Doomcock here with like, you know, the meltdowns. He is literally like, you know, the Jeremy Prime of oil. It's like yelling at his radio. But whatever. It made for great TV. It was fun and entertaining. And then, of course, he has talk with Angela. And she's more into being, she is extremely exhibitionist. She wants to show off her assets. She's like, oh, I'm just alone in the truck. I'm arguing with the 2 biggest idiots in all West Texas. And she's like, if you want to see the biggest idiot in West Texas, look in the rear view mirror. And it's just never nice to him. She's always, I've started to really respect Ali Larter's acting. Have you noticed that before Angela loses it, the side of her face starts to twitch in like a spasmodic way that's very believable? Every time?
I didn't notice that.
Did you? Or you didn't?
Didn't.
Watch whenever I put it in the video essay for last week, guys. Whenever Angela gets mad, the side of her face gets going. It gets going. And then she loses it and starts screaming, like the left side of her face from the right side from our perspective starts twitching, and like it doesn't affect her eye. It's just in her cheek and by the side of her mouth. It's just like, are you fucking with me? And then she just blows up.
So it's like
on the eyes. She is.
It's like the Inspector Clouseau's boss in Pink Panther.
Yes, she's like Chief Inspector Dreyfus.
Yes,
or honestly, like Hilter in Downfall, which made it into last week's video essay, because when Ainsley goes on her social Darwinistic rant at TCU, there is no other way to put it. In fact, I had funnier stuff with Hilter I forgot to put in that I'll try to work into this week, guys. Don't worry, you fans out there.
We'll make it
the video essay.
Experienced with this level of crazy. That's probably why he's picking it out real quick.
She reminds me of my favorite ex-girlfriend for sure.
Yeah, I was sensing something there.
Hot, wild, fucking wild woman. But she is whatever. This is a pretty good storytelling method. This is how Tommy lives his life. He's on the phone in his truck, going from like, you know, problem to problem. Maybe from the wind farm to the patch where they're redeveloping the wells, and basically we find out you know, she has a little bit of empathy for him, and they actually have some kind of dysfunctional version of love. Then Cooper's like, you know, we got to talk, and he's like, where are you? And he's like, I'm here. He's like, get some breakfast, we'll be there in an hour. And he can kind of like get there anyway. So Tommy shows up to give him some advice at the same time that Nathan and Rebecca are going to have to deal with something that's going to happen to Cammy right here. Cammy goes jogging because she's really super rich. She's followed by 2 guys with guns in an Escalade to make sure that no one fucks with her. At the golf community where she lives in a castle, where we see the helicopter shot or the drone shot of where she lives in a very, very beautiful gated community that seems to have a connected golf course behind all the houses as the common area. So, you know, she's doing great. And that was the community where Monty was walking around trying to get his health back together, getting laughed at by the older guys. So she's out there jogging. She's not going to let what happened to him happen to her. I guess they both were sucking down the hollandaise sauce together. But a court officer comes up to serve her. Here we can see her security. But a guy gets out of a car to talk to her. It's construed as threatening. He's actually just a He's just in the court. He's delivering a summons. She's been served. They got a whole bunch of money in in a settlement for a destroyed offshore oil rig. Call it the Shallow Water Horizon. Okay, it wasn't that far out. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was an offshore oil rig, presumably in the Gulf, of roughly Deepwater Horizon-like status. It was taken out by a hurricane before it was either fully online or they were able to turn it off. There's no environmental disaster. It's pretty much ready to be opened back up is what we get by the end of this, although we don't know this now. But here's the deal. There's about $500 million worth of money that Monty got, and no one knows what he did with it. Now, it immediately occurs to us that he had no money to work over these wells that were starting to produce again, and then he suddenly was able to do it anyway. And, we thought maybe that was a plot convenience in the show, but perhaps this is that coming back. This money, is this where the money came to work over the wells and start the oil flowing again? Since the oil is flowing again in the patch, does that mean that Monty gambled correctly? Monty's final fatal toss of the dice that landed him in 6 feet under, that has Cammy with this gamble, with this lawsuit now. Was it in fact not so crazy because the wells are producing and it's starting to work out for Cammy? We'll work the other way down the totem pole this time. Middleman Radioactive, don't worry, you'll get to go first soon. Krimlon, what did you think of this moment with Demi Moore jogging and getting served by this guy with the lawsuit for the funds on the payoff on the Shallow Water Horizon?
Seems like a lot of paranoia right there in the beginning. I wasn't quite sure why she had, presidential level security with her.
Well, it would have been like 40 guys, but yeah, she has say House of Reps level security.
Yeah, that seemed a little strange to me, but I guess being that wealthy and
she's as rich as that healthcare guy who got shot.
Yeah, she angered a lot of other wealthy people.
And she's a kidnapping target who lives not too far from Mexico.
Yeah, I guess that.
Sicarios would love to grab her.
It is a little interesting, all the craziness that's starting to happen all at once, and it kind of makes me wonder how all of it's tied together at the end. And it makes me kind of wonder how...
We are going to tie a lot of it together at the end of this episode. There's an
makes me not just
quality, folks, and we're 25% of the way through, and 25% of the way through of our show. We're doing well.
I say it not only does this story and the one that happens at the end almost seem tied together, but it also makes me wonder about the true reasoning why his I guess what's his name, son was actually kicked out of the house.
We'll find out. We can talk about that when we get there. Let's bounce
Conspiracy
down.
theory.
Let's drop down one to Radioactive. What did you think? Cammy's story part 1. She's served. There's $500 million missing. It's $420 million, but there's about $500 million missing.
Well, we don't. Well, we find out that there's like $500 million that have been unaccounted for. We're not sure exactly what the deal is there or who's behind it. But it is interesting. It is interesting to see a few of the Blackwater guys getting a little bit of exercise.
Yeah, they got another job. They're still working.
Yeah. Maybe a couple too many tours over in the sandbox because they already have their weapons drawn on this guy. It was like, all right, that's a little bit out of place. I don't think they'd do that.
A bit too far in a few places.
Yeah, they kind of over.
Either that or Cammy is so paranoid that her orders to them were like, anyone fucking comes near me, kneecap them. That's your warning shot is a kneecap, okay? Cammy's instructions may have been very controversial. I don't know.
As Arnie said in Terminator 2, he'll live.
They delivered with the drama on this, though. Like, I didn't believe Cammy was in danger. I understood what was going on before these idiots did. They're not so... Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. Yes, it is in the Gulf of America, guys. Yes. And hello, Rodrigo. Rodrigo Diaz Vivarde, 6183. It's good to see you, my friend. Welcome to Landman Live. If we know you by your regular name, because we're back to tags again, it's making everything a nightmare. If I know you by your regular name, just let me know who you are. I can figure out who most everyone is, but you know what? We're still like of a size that I can know everybody, and I like that part of this channel. But okay, like I never felt like she was in danger, but it was an extremely enjoyable moment of drama where it wasn't cartoonish, it wasn't silly. He didn't have an Uzi or a super soaker full of like. It would have been funnier if like how much funnier would it have been if like a Greenpeace activist threw oil on Cammy. We didn't go there either, but that would have also, I guess, she would have to be coming out of court after doing something mean to get that. But I understood what was going on before she did. I felt it was very clear. Anybody else comments on the guy from court?
I think the security was a little bit lax. They should have intercepted him before he got anywhere near Cammy.
He did have that look on his face.
Is he also an oil worker? His hands are pale, but his arms are tan.
Well, he's also got tattoos on his forearms,
which most actors have to cover up, so they let this guy have a little bit of personality in his character too. So good for him. Oops. Sorry, folks. Oops, that's venison.
Yeah, he was a pretty aggressive processor.
Yeah, that is a pretty aggressive process server, sirs and madams.
Yeah, process servers like him don't usually last too long. Especially when you're serving billionaires.
He didn't overthink. He underthought this. This is her security, okay? Jason Statham and The Rock are her fucking security.
Oh,
and
God.
this guy's like under researched what was going on. He didn't think through that he was serving a summons to a 1%er.
Well,
we would
if they were
go
in
for
a gated
America.
community, he shouldn't have been able to get through the gate. He would have.
Well, he had a court order.
Well, yeah, but still, he would have had to go through their security checkpoint. So
Radioactive's right. That's a private property, technically.
They would have had a heads up if they were wired in with the people from the gate or they had a phone number with them. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a convenience here. Maybe she jogged outside the community. Maybe she left the community on the jog. Who knows?
Well, that teaches her a lesson.
They showed her. But welcome, everybody. Please hit those like and follow buttons if you haven't already. I'm your buddy, Admiral Teague, and we're just getting into the developments of Landman. We're getting to the end of what I would guess would be the episode's second act. We're past the credits. We've seen Tommy have his little bass meltdown on the phone where he yells at the DJs on the radio. It's funny as hell. This episode was funnier than episode 1 because it had a lightly comedic tone through most of it, which is weird because it's about processing of death. But Tommy had no sentiment for the person who died. They're looking it over. They see the papers are indeed for real. And that's when Cammy calls in a three-way call. It's Tommy, it's Nathan, and it's Rebecca. All the legal and operations people from MTEX on the phone at once, and they're talking to each other about the risks involved and what exactly they're being sued for. Here's the story. There was a hurricane in, I guess, the Gulf that took out the shallow water horizon or whatever it was called. They don't name it. Apparently, whatever the other problems were went away or didn't happen. It either wasn't online or they turned it off before it got destroyed. Due diligence happened. There's no environmental disaster. They know where the oil is, and the insurance payment was contingent on drilling more. And for some crazy reason, instead of getting the money as they drilled, they were given all the money at once. And so what we're going to do is Nathan believes he deserves a seat at the meeting because he understands land and mineral rights. And Tommy goes, bullshit, sit your ass the fuck down. This is Rebecca's meeting. She knows negotiating and bullshit, and there ain't nothing to do with mineral rights here. All we're trying to do is buy time and kick the can. We don't know what the fuck's going on, and we got to read these contracts, which... You know what? As unexciting as that tact is, it sets up the drama later in another boardroom smackdown like emasculation by Rebecca. But it also, to us who do business and live in this country, we got too much red tape to figure out what's going on. Have the head shark go in there with a whip and a chair and calm down this den of lions. It doesn't offend my sense of right or wrong, and I don't have a business degree. The idea is this show is not just for people with business degrees. It passes the LOL test, though they might be in weird a weird position worse than it looks. We will now start from the middle. Germ, what did you think of Cammie's legal problem and the huddle up between Rebecca, Tommy, Nathan, Cammie, and Nathan, sort of the odd man out, and processing the. This ends with a very bitter. You're on the from Rebecca to Nathan. She goes, "You are on the wrong side of this company's chain of command to raise your fucking voice to me. Don't do it again." And he takes it, but he's like, not passively taking it. He like stares her down and shit. He's not a complete loser, but he does understand how corporations work, how money works, and he's not ready to cross swords with her yet. And he may even just be able to figure out a way to coexist with her. Like, Nathan is not the most adversarial person. From what we've seen of Nathan, coexist seems to be his thing. He's trying to ride out living with Ainsley and Angela, and they even find a little bit of common cause. Is their tension supposed to be maybe comedic? Your take on the seriousness of our situation legally here with the $420 million, let's call it a $500 million for shorthand, and the dynamic here legally of the four MTEX principals being Tommy, Cabby, Nathan, and Rebecca, as far as the legal front goes. Radioactive, go for it.
Oh, I actually enjoyed this part of the show a bit.
It was good. It was good.
I did find it that it's like, well, wait a minute. Why did he finally decide to get aggressive with her now?
I think his patience is short from being around Angela and Ainsley.
Oh, well, yeah, that could be true too.
Both characters everyone who lives in the rent house has been changed except Angela and Ainsley. Tommy's life has changed. He has changed. Nathaniel's life has been wrecked. Nathan's life has been wrecked. He has no peace. His place of business is a mess because they are there all the time. And Dale has lost a bunch of weight because he's forced to eat crackers, although the actor himself, I guess, wanted to lose weight. The actor who plays Dale looks great. He lost a lot of weight. He's not recognizable. They have to spend a lot of time repeatedly calling him Dale and having him reassert who he is so that we know who he is. But they do a good enough job. I don't feel like they belabored it. We needed it, and they did it well enough. The scene at the rent house this week was as funny and as fun as last week, but it wasn't as wild and crazy. You can't do that shit every week. We had to climb down from last week's intensity. Angela doesn't have a whole half season of bile built up. She just had her meltdown last night. So at the strategy here, Nathan, I guess the bone of contention here is Nathan wants to be on the meeting, and he's not going to be. And Cammie is still large and in charge. She's making calls. She overrules a couple of things Tommy says. Tommy's got an idea or two. And I thought they strategized well. What was your thoughts?
I think Nate's problem is he wants to do everything honestly. Rebecca doesn't have that problem.
He's also, I think, maybe more methodical. He's like, we need time to do the work. We have to get a mineral assessment.
Yeah, he wants to have all his ducks in a row. He wants to do everything nice, properly, honestly, and legally. And as I said, Rebecca doesn't know what is actually required in this, except for 2 lines that Nate gives her, and that will come back to bite her. But
modestly guilty of linear thinking, perhaps, at worst. Is he maybe too linear? It's like, we got the money, we must do the work. Even though it's been pointed out, we can't pull this off in time. After the phone call ends and the legal part of this ends, they say to each other, we can't pull off this on several levels. Did I get Krimlon's take on the legal part of the basically what it amounts to every important person at MTEX talking about this new develop? Krimlon, what did you think of their strategizing?
I think it almost seems like it's kind of realistic on that end. I mean, how many times have lawyers been put in a place or situation where they don't have enough time to try to review what's going on, so they have to go BS their way through it.
I would agree.
It does come off like a hateful buddy cop type situation, even if it's short term.
There was a laugh in there though when they talked about how they need an office. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever live with those 2 women.
You know what? I think Miskatonic nailed it here. You need both kinds of lawyer. They might need one more lawyer to suture it together in a way that won't get everyone thrown in jail, because Rebecca's like more into getting off, having confrontations, and owning people than she is doing the right thing. So she might land everyone in jail with her crazy antics, but
Probably.
I think Miskatonic did nail it.
Third one, we could call it the unholy trifecta.
I don't want to give short shrift to Radioactive. You had said something that I thought was interesting. This part was fun. This is a fun and enjoyable 4 or 5 minute interlude here, which includes Ainsley and Angela showing up at the end. Talk to me about the fun aspect of this. Go ahead.
Well, just when you thought that Rebecca may have had a great time on her day off with her princess phone massager, she comes back and you realize, well, maybe it didn't go as well as you thought it did.
That she forgot to put the batteries in the refrigerator. The heat killed them. Yeah, okay. Okay. What can I tell you? This was an important scene as far as the overall show goes. Is there's $420 million missing dollars, and they're basically at this point what they're saying is, Cammy, buy us some time by talking to people and being charming. We can handle this. And Tommy's like, we definitely can figure this out. We need a few days. And that's when it ends with Ainsley coming in for her little cheerleading session outside. And she talks to Rebecca, and they have this really kind of interesting confrontation where you can see Angela's face is starting to do the spasmodic thing right here. If you look at the right side of her face, see how it's starting to creep asymmetrical. First her smile gets crooked, then her face starts twitching. It's a little acting move that goes back to Ali Larter's like Heroes days. She's done it for a long time, but she's really good at it now. Ainsley comes in and gets confronted by Rebecca about cheerleading, who asks her like what she's doing, and she says, "Oh, I'm training because it's a real, demanding sport." And she's like, "Is it a sport? Isn't it a sport? Or don't you just cheer for other sports?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's a sport, and it's the most selfless of sports." And she's like, "That's real interesting. Well, see you later, Ainsley." And Angela shows up, and she's a bitch to everyone, and she calls Nathan. What does she call him? Norman? Neil. She calls him Neil. She calls him Neil, and he corrects her, and she goes, "I'm going to get you a name tag." And then she goes on this brainless thing about herself, and then she says something else, and he's like, "I don't know about that." And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, Neil." And he's like, "My name is Nathan." And she's like, "I got to get you a name tag," indicating that she didn't even remember what she had said 1 minute beforehand. Guys, is Angela already drunk? I say so. So say we all. It's 10:30 in the morning.
I think she maintains a certain level of drunk.
Her and Tommy.
Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Celebrating happy hour in New Zealand. Crimon, what did you think of the end of this confrontation here where Angela comes in and just acts like a psycho? She's not the meanest, but she crazy stuff, like bordering on a meltdown all the time. It's pretty good, actually.
You stepped away from the mic for a minute.
I missed that. Okay, so yeah, we all love when she's a little bit psycho. She has sort of mastered this art of the simmering. She might go off, and like you're never quite safe. But this was a low end boil from her. I didn't see her fully going off. She did show that she was completely thoughtless. I'm wondering if her real IQ and her functional IQ are anywhere near the same. Like she's running around with like a 95 and she's using like a 75. It's bad.
Well, that does tend to happen when you're impaired.
And like she's never
Probably
had
been
a hard
like that since her and Tommy got divorced.
Having a meltdown and yelling at people has gotten her way ever since she was Ainsley's age, and now she's never had more resistance, so she's frustrated, and she's never been worse of a drunk, so she'll yell at people and shit. Where are we here? Oh, we're driving through town. We're back in that pickup truck. Cooper has finally gone to his father, and they're going to figure out together just what the Landman is going on with all these oil wells. And Cooper tells him, "I just went 6 for 6 on the wells." Tommy gets confirmation from Marty. This is luck like he never saw before. He knows everyone working on the well, all the oil rig guys. He knows all of them, and they know him based on the fact that just basically he knows the foreman, and the foreman does what I have always said. You don't really bother Tommy with a lot of words. Just like, Tommy. It's like, we did real good, huh? Did real good, Tommy. Huh, that's great. Like, that's this show. Nobody speaks in very long sentences. No one speaks more than they have to. We spend a lot of time being shown, not told. It's kind of the beauty of the Taylor Sheridan characters, but we got a lot of Hemingway-esque characters piled together in the same scene. And, basically Marty does most of the heavy lifting here, explaining stuff. And then Tommy finally launches into, you got to do this, this, and this before you can realize any of this profit. You have the basically, this is where Cooper finds out he has the means to make money, but he has by no means sealed the deal yet. And they're going to have to pull a few things and get everything to work their way before they can get these Olympic swimming pools filled with beautiful money-making oil to a place where they can make it into money. But first they have to spend a little more money to do it. And, oh, by the way, someone holds the lease, holds the note, by the way, on this lease, and there's debt maintenance. So even though we've got it all, there's still a lot of pressure, the kind that makes you smoke a lot of cigarettes and end up like Monty. And he's like, why the hell didn't you call me? And he's like, I'm calling you now. And he's like, might be a little late on that one. And we see them there. This is their Landman environment, just sort of like, trucking through endless desert. Not a lot to say about this scene, except we spell out what's going on. And then we get to the old folks' home where things are happening. Ainsley and Angela have gone to the old folks' home. They've gotten everyone trashed on like margaritas or something like that. They're doing like really low effort aerobics. It's more about being drunk and acting nuts. They're having fun. They're doing like the most fun you could ever have in an old folks' home. The old folks' home relented to Angela and Ainsley. They're just going to do what they want, but the people in charge of inspecting and controlling the old folks' home, that being these people, and this woman's face says it all. Angela and Ainsley managed to freak out and disgust people wherever they go, no matter what they do. And these two people are from the Texas Old Folks Association. They're from the state. Go ahead, Jerm.
To be fair, these two are bureaucrats. Any type of normal human being is going to freak them out. Let alone
this
these
is
two
not
lushes.
normal human beings, though. No one in this situation is normal. Not these people, not the people who run the old folks home, and not these old folks anymore. So this guy's sort of like a very stuffy dick. This woman, she's also a very stuffy dick of a woman. They're from like, I forget, it's a bunch of letters in a row. What we'll call the Texas Department of Old Person Care. And they're going to make sure that these old people have a good, boring 3 square meals, 1 game of bingo a day kind of life. And they see what, I'm going to be honest, my grandmother lived to be 96. Loud dance music at the old folks' home is not unusual. The old folks sitting in chairs doing like 0 effort aerobics isn't unusual. So the fact that they're freaked out right here, that's a little much, but we're building up to them being frantic. I guess they're presented as either, I don't know how to look at these bureaucrats. Do they care about these old people and they want Threat Angela and Threat Ainsley neutralized? Or are they just flexing because they're useless government officials who want to keep their plastic credentials? Or is it both? And this time what I'll do is I will go to the top of the totem pole and I'll start with Crimlon. Crimlon, thoughts on Angela and Ainsley? And we'll get to what happens, but where they've bought this old folks home and how the state feels about it. Before we get to what happens next, the penultimate moment of the confrontation here. We're having a drinking couch-bound aerobics party at the old folks home. It's kooky, and it's 10:30 in the morning. Give or take.
Oh boy, yeah, they're just government bureaucrats, like what Jerm said. They're stooges. I think they're obviously they're way in over their heads, and I think they're actual police officers. The way they handled the situation, I honestly do not blame what happens afterwards.
This guy wakes up every day and puts on that blazer going like, Chet Johnson, the Texas Department of Old People. Yeah.
Well, the fact that he he may not have kids, or he's damaged down there very well afterwards. Kind of
he's never having
explains.
kids after this. Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of deserved what they got on that end.
Guys, this is they mixed the comedy into the drama real well. This was great comedy again from the ladies. It seems like they're just going to show up and be comedy every week. Although Ainsley had one serious moment.
Well, yeah, serious.
The Cooper
Not
lady.
not much depth in that character, but
No, but she did get to show a little bit of a different side. A little bit. You know, it was some acting from Michelle Randolph more than anything else, I think.
I'm just waiting for another Alex to appear in this show.
Oh, you know, we've got people on their way. You know, I think that Rebecca could be this show's Alex if she goes on some kind of journey around the patch trying to do too many things at once. But okay, so Radioactive, we've brought this to a pretty wild place. Do you think that these Texas Department of Old People agents are they out over their skis and losing their minds, or this has reached the point that it's ridiculous? I think it's probably okay still.
It's
unseemly.
It's a mix of both.
It's really unseemly, but it's no way illegal.
Well, it's probably not. The thing that crossed my mind is like, well, they're just going to get them for the fact that they don't have any accreditation in anything. So
which
the
they
bureaucrats
might not need as guests.
Well, who knows? I mean, what they're doing. I find this whole side quest to be a little bit lame. They were going someplace last week with the college. They should have kept with the college storyline.
Well,
that was much more entertaining.
I think she's going back to school after this next week, and we'll get more from TCU.
We'll get more Animal House.
TCU came up again.
We'll get TCU Animal.
She is going to go to. She is going to end up at an Animal House like party, but they try to tell Angela what to do. Never a good idea. Tommy knows too well to do that, and the guy from the Texas Department of Aging tells Angela she's going to comply.
I want to see
people get hurt.
I want to see Ainsley and Angela both in shopping carts, and they're dropped back off at their house.
Like Indiana Jones's girlfriend. And none of the old folks are going to cooperate. Long story short, they beat up both of the agents from the Texas Department of Old People, and the old folks are on their side. Here's one of them going down. They take them both out. They're crazy. But the thing is, these people make the first physical move, and they probably don't have a right. Now we're at our meeting where Rebecca has to negotiate with the insurance company and the company that backs the insurance company and the insurance company's lawyer, where they talk about how it wasn't a really good idea for them to give them all the money up front. So you'd better be out in front of this and drilling. And Rebecca drops her main ace in this one is that Monty died and we're still trying to right the ship. You can't just come in here and gut this company. No judge will allow it. And she's right. She's right. I thought that this was another flex and more product placement. The American flag shows up in the scene. I bet you that a lot of this show will continue to take place in America. This is not the CEO. The CEO is a slightly younger, somewhat Latino-ish looking guy. But she just does her usual thing. She breaks all these people and gets them to pretty much give up and surrender and give her what she wants, which is they shouldn't have given out the $500 million that was thrown at Monty that he used to get the patch back up to oil producing level. So he now has the leverage to pay this off, but it was an improper and crazy gamble that maybe wouldn't have cleared some kind of corporate thing. He might have had his hands tied by the government if he tried. It was implied that he just improperly went and did what had to be done rather than go out of business. And everyone keeps saying, you know, if I don't use my gut, if I do a geological survey, or if I wait to do things the right way, I'll be out of business. The big guys will eat me up. We're swimming with sharks here. So here she is in a total corporate boardroom, and again, this is where she's at home. She's like, oh, please, take this from arbitration to court. I'd love to put her on the stand. I can make Cammy cry on cue. It's uncanny. And they're just like, all right, here's what we'll do. We'll give you some time to put together a working rig because you know what? This was a working oil well when it got destroyed. You're not looking for oil. This isn't an exploratory deal. What you said about how Monty might have conned our client, You're right. Our client's alive and Monty's dead. We can make Monty look bad and he'll never pay a price for it, but our client's going to look stupid. And he also has like interest in an oil well that could start producing again. So we're not going to just walk away from this. We'll fight you and it's not worth it, even if you will win. So the thing we should do here is we should just chest bump or high five, whichever you prefer, sir or madam. And you will agree to try to make another shallow water horizon. And we'll all have a well because we know where the oil is. Just unfuck this rig that already exists. And she's down for it. And she agrees to those terms and ends the meeting on her terms, having won. And that's where we get Tommy shopping for the coffin for Dorothy, revealed to be his mother. Nobody likes Rebecca. The dead man says, the lady tripped. You get your story straight. Yeah, that's right. But it wasn't that she tripped. She just didn't see Ainsley's foot. You'll say it like that in court, baby. So I guess we're going to get the second half of what happens at the old folks home. We leave during pandemonium. There is hilarious pandemonium at the old folks home when we step over to the funeral home. So we go from hell's waiting room to where you board your flight to hell. And Tommy, like, I thought we're originally Star Trek reviewers, so I got to say it. Anyone else upset that they didn't have a Type 4 photon torpedo case in here for her to be buried in, right? That's how I'm going out.
Excellent point, Teague. I didn't even think about that.
Now that you see it, it doesn't look like a very good funeral home at all, does it? And it's not a very good funeral home at all, is it?
I'm going out the toilet incinerator.
It'd be like Cotton Hill. All right, you know what? He says $2,500 for a pine box, whatever. And then he gets a phone call, a FaceTime call from the sheriff. And he's like, why the fuck are you FaceTiming me? And he walks around in an animated circle in this room full of coffins. It's like he circled the wagons, but they circled the coffins. And it's interestingly shot. And he's like, I got to show you something. And it's his wife and his daughter double handcuffed together. And they're acting wacky. And they're like yelling, like Angela's out of her mind. And Ainsley's being a little more placated. Ainsley still plays nice at first until she tries to get what she wants. Angela just tips a fit. She's too old for this shit. And she's already like brutally drunk. And yeah, pine box is what she gets. They go with the pine box. He just basically goes with this one. And the talk with the funeral director after this is going to be hilarious. But the sheriff basically shows him Angela and Ainsley. And he FaceTimes with them. And he's like, what the hell happened? And he's like, they beat up some agents from the Florida Department of Old People. And we see the people from the Department of Old People, and they're bad. They're pretty badly beat up, like not like within inches of their life, but like the guy's got a couple of contusions. He's getting some smelling salt and like an ice pack. The woman is like coming to her senses while an EMT like comforts her. She's got like the Mylar blanket on, perhaps. I mean, these people have been beat up by the Norris ladies. They messed them up, and there might have been no real reason to do it, but they're crazy, and this is how they have fun. They are Texas-sized wild women. They beat these people up. And then Tommy tells the sheriff, I don't have time for this bullshit. Let them go. He starts to get heated. He starts yelling while he's FaceTiming with the speaker on. Everyone can hear everything. He storms out of the funeral home, walks like a semicircle in the parking lot, shouting, finishes his conversation with a profane tirade, walking back into the funeral home, finishes his tirade, yells at them, shut the fuck up, hangs up the phone, puts the phone in his pocket, looks over at his son, goes, well, I guess this will be good enough for her. And the funeral director goes, like, what do you want? Like, we got to pick out flowers. There's the funeral director, guys. And he's like, you have other arrangements that need to be made, sir. This funeral is far from, completely arranged. And Tommy says, you take care of the flowers. He says, what do you mean by that? And he's like, you just do it. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like, enough to show that I cared, but not enough to make it seem like I miss her. And the guy looks at him and just goes, all right. And my take was, he had heard it a million times before. funeral home, real trashy meltdown. He was a profane and classless son of a bitch. Even though this was the hardest day of his life, he did some stuff that he doesn't care what these people think and stuff, but this was trashy behavior. Anybody want to take a comment on Tommy's rant at the funeral home?
I wouldn't call it trashy.
Screaming and cursing, fuck you over and over in front of a whole bunch of people when he could have gotten outside. Yeah, no, he doesn't have any. He's been around Angela too long for a while at this point, and he's acting out. Like, this was a tirade that he could have had outside. He had some of it outside. He had the good sense to leave for part of it, and then he stopped caring.
But hey, the sheriff thought it was hilarious. I mean,
The sheriff was dying the whole time. Yeah, the sheriff, who looks a little like Nick Offerman, was dying the whole time. So, Jerem, your thought was that, called for, but does he care, right?
Yeah, he doesn't care. Is more than called for, and in that place, no one's going to look twice at it.
They've seen rich, crazy people have funerals a million times.
They're around
It's
dead
outside
people
of
all the time.
Boomtown.
What makes you think they care?
This guy was the perfectly cast Undertaker, too. And then back to Hell's Waiting Room, they go to Prairie View Acres where Thomas is being kept, and he's basically like a barely restrained but physically broken down but barely restrained animal. His mind is really sharp. He has the kind of knowledge you pick up on the placemats at truck stops. He knows all about the summer solstice and could probably recite every president forward and backwards. Like, and that's our last Whig president. Then we move on, like, he seems to have a lot of knowledge. So, like, he's very obsessed with sunset. He's back in his spot to look at the sunset. And that's why I feel that it's no accident that we have the solar panels. We always see a little bit of alternative energy in every episode. It's kind of a running joke in the Landman meta that it's out there too. It's like, well, the sun is beating down on this place. They might as well take some strain off the main grid, I guess. Although Admiral Teague's invention of a windmill made out of solar panels would be probably a game changer that I think needs to be strongly looked into. But what did you guys think? Thomas now has his talk with Tommy and Cooper. Cooper seems like this is under double digits in his life, having met this man. Like, maybe the last time he saw him was high school graduation kind of energy. Tommy, that was the last time Tommy saw him, if he was even at Cooper's high school graduation. It's got a 5 to 15 year vibe and no meaningful conversation in 30 feeling to it. TL Thomas, he talks about the woman who passed, Dorothy. It's definitely Tommy's mom. It's Cooper's grandmother. And he says, she was amazing, and I did love her, and yeah, she did kind of put me in this chair. And Tommy's like, it's a real shame, but like, she's gone. Sorry, I guess. And TL Thomas says to Tommy, like, kind of sorry, sort of. She was really great. And he's like, if she was great, it was gone before I was born. And Tommy's 60, so Thomas had like 5 or 6 good years tops of life. And then it seems like Tommy's birth destroys it. And like Dorothy's never happy again. And so Cooper doesn't really know her, says he wish he had known her. And again, everyone says you're probably better off that you didn't. And Thomas is pretty much in pain, and it's beautifully filmed, and Sam is powerful again. He talks about, I remember how she was brighter than the light of the most beautiful sunset. And we have another beautiful Prairie, Texas sunset. And he gets scientific. He starts off a lot of stuff scientific. He's like, dust. And they're like, huh? You've been smoking it? And he's like, no, in the atmosphere. The lot here is so perfectly constructed as that the dust gives us a more aesthetically beautiful sunset than everywhere else. Which to me sounds like knowledge from the back of a truck stop placemat, but still accurate. And it's like, he's still got a curious mind. He's still real smart, but something happened that busted up his body. He says he's 82? So he's 22 years older than his son. And Cooper's 22 now, so We've got a lot of synergy going on in the Landman dynamic. We've got 3 of the same guy, except that Cooper seems to be in an unsteady attempt to break the trajectory. It seems like the Landman lifestyle keeps pulling him back in. And what we get is Thomas never really rose to full-on Landman, though Tommy is the most secure and most Landmanish he's ever been because it's not his money and he can't go to that broke and only maybe go to jail. But when his company was going, he was like easy come, easy go, crazy man. If Sam Elliott ever got that far, he was a little cautious about it and it lasted a little longer. It was never quite as good as Tommy's boom. Maybe a longer, less insane, more sustainable boom, but when it ended, it was just as bad. And this one seems to have been, a lot of it was he saved that $200,000 a year by being one of the hands-on guys himself and doing a lot of the work. He was swinging a wrench all day. That's how he got so messed up and hurt. He's out there in the oil field being real physical at 60 and 70. That's how he ended up like this. And he's bitter as shit. He's slightly apologetic to his son. He's just like a stranger to his grandson. He's cordial to him. And his last words of the episodes is, like Tommy says to him, "Funeral's Friday," and walks away. And Cooper says, "She sounds like a great lady. I wish I'd known her," which is the right thing to say. And Cooper always says and does the right thing. TL looks at him and goes, "I reckon I'll see you on Friday." And that's how we just leave Thomas. And we have a moment with Cooper and Tommy that I'll talk about in a moment. But I'll throw it to my panel, and this time we'll go Germ first. Germ, you like the TL scenes. You said they were your favorite part of the show. You get first shot at this one. Tell me about this moment, our time with Thomas at the end of the episode.
Well, Sam is just such a great actor. He can probably just read the dictionary and it'd be entertaining. But
Right.
the material they're giving him is very heartfelt, very strong. I like the way he's relating to his son and grandson. Not sure what the big payoff is going to be yet for him this season, but looking forward to it.
A couple of people mentioned to me a few things were redone from 1883 in his introduction, the tragic nature, and a couple of shots. And yeah, Sam Elliott was ever young. Yeah, no, I saw movies where Sam Elliott was young. Check out Movie Mask. He's young and he's dating Cher. It looks like he's doing well for himself at that point in life. That was the kind of woman that Dorothy seems to have been. This is the Sam Elliott who stays with Cher. Think of it that way, okay? That's the kind of nightmare life he lives. You know what, Sam? Fuck you. Okay, keep going, Jeremy. A little more about Sam's great acting. And what did you think in the impact of the scene and his talking about Dorothy? He didn't really care that it destroyed... He would wreck Tommy's childhood again to relive those 5 good years with Dorothy, wouldn't he?
Probably, and I think it has a pretty big effect on Cooper as well. Seeing how he might have to relate with his girl and certain changes he might have to make with his life.
This is Ghost of Landman past in every single way, am I right? I'll drag the shackles of my mistakes with me wherever I go. All right, let's go to my buddy Radioactive. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
3 men who are made the same mistake, making the mistake, and about to make the mistake.
The
All of it the same thing, and the only difference is where they are on the line.
You know what? Deeply Newtonian, the apple in the tree is brought up here, and the apple fell right next to the tree for Sam Elliott and Tommy. But then the tree that Tommy grew was maybe near a hill, and that apple rolls a bit to a slightly sunnier part of the hill where it might be okay, but it could still get eaten by a passing scavenger. He could still end up marrying someone like his own sister and ruining everything. But he's working out and now has the second act with his father after Sam Elliott's very powerful scene. I'm sorry. Radioactive, Sam Elliott's moment here at the end. Tell me what you thought of it, the weight of it, and his reminiscing about how he made mistakes in his life with Dorothy.
Well, we knew we had to get some background information on more on his character and what was going on with his family life. At least
it was
for
more validation,
Tommy.
right? You use the right term. It is like verification and validation. We kind of knew this stuff from pre-publicity, but he had to say, "Yes, I am your father" moment, and "Yeah, I loved her. Here's why" moment.
Yeah, basically, I mean, we're still fleshing out his character a bit because we had speculated where he was going to end up on the spectrum of say characters within the show. We thought, we thought maybe he's related to Cammy, maybe he's related to Tommy, maybe he's somebody else, and yeah, I'd say he's in a way he's still playing Captain Brennan from 1880.
Yes, I believe it's a Shay retread to a degree, but since I really like that character, I would like to see this. Shay is about to delete himself, but decides to hold off with one more purpose, that being to see through one more wagon train to the ocean. He fails at everything, but he gets to the ocean, and then he kind of takes out his Type 0 phaser and does something very controversial. And Sam Elliott here, it seems like, quite honestly, the idea that he's there to protect Cammy's interests, he does seem like he could pull it off. You get him a good motorized wheelchair. He's still lost none of his potency. He's angry as could be. His mind hasn't gone, and he only has mixed emotions towards Tommy. If at this funeral Cammy shows up in Amarillo, where they say it's where she was, and if that's even where it is, we'll see where the funeral is. But if all parties show up at this funeral that I thought would be this week, and that really does need to be next week to keep the pacing correct, we could see Cammy give him a limited contract, and he would take it. Don't have to live at that damn old folks' home, hire my own person to yell at, and be like a Ty Cobb type yelling at his help. I could see there could still be maybe one more contract out there for him, maybe to keep an eye on Tommy. What do you think, Radioactive?
Oh, say again, Teague.
Do you think that maybe the idea that he could be here to protect Cammy's interests might still be alive? That at this funeral or some other place, Cammy could run into him and be like, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't you take this contract and you know what? We could move on, and you could keep an eye on. You are like executive vice president of corporate oversight to make sure Tommy doesn't go insane, or to make sure Rebecca doesn't get too nuts. Like you get a salary to yell at these people."
Well, it could happen. We'll see where it goes. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because he could probably advise on like methods and operations.
Oh, you mean like he's an emeritus professor, so to speak?
Yeah, he has his landman, degree. He's like landmanned his way through decades enough not to be dying in the street. He's at least got a mediocre old folks home.
Well,
Dinner's
maybe.
at 6:30.
I don't know. You think they'll maybe they give him a haircut and maybe a suit, and then all of a sudden he's back in action?
That, or we find out that he's the one Monty gave the money to, and he's a Sicario, and he's like, "I can solve your problem, son." All right, so.
Or hey, maybe he runs into Andy Garcia from season 1, and he goes,
Andy
I
Garcia
used to work
is
with
in this
your
episode.
dad.
Did you catch Andy Garcia's quick cameo in this episode? Very brief.
Yes, I did. But
Yes.
I don't want to spoil it for people how that
Sirs
happens.
and
I
madams, we
suspected
are
things.
75% through our show and 85% through theirs. Tommy and Cooper have a conversation. And Cooper is kicked out. He hasn't bought a house yet or has a place to live. He's going to stay at the rent house on the couch. And Tommy tells him, "You know what?" And he doesn't say, "Don't be like me." He talks like he did the right thing, which he didn't. He says, when a woman tells you, stuff like, "Get the hell out of my life forever," you maybe got to sit down and give a real good listen. And I'm thinking, like, you are like half past the time to listen to her, but yeah, try it now. You might as well. He loves her. So he advised her to give Ariana one more try because he really likes her. And this is Cooper and Ainsley cross paths. They're venomous enemies. It seems like she's just exactly the mother's daughter, and he's just exactly the father's son, and they can't work out their hatred and mutual disdain for each other the way that the parents can. So there's nothing for them to do but really dislike each other. Thoughts on that? Anybody want to sum up the Cooper-Ainsley sibling rivalry? We'll just go quick on that one. Free for all, jump ball. Anyone on Ainsley and Cooper? Where she's like, keep smoking, Cooper. I just wish you could die tomorrow. And it's like, yeah, okay, bitch.
And we're still not sure what caused the animosity between these two. There seems to be something more to the story
I
that we're
think
not
they're
getting.
emotionally incompatible. Like, I think he's just Angela and Tommy should never have been together, and they're not compatible, and their children are just like them, so they can't get along. Was my impression right now, but you could be right. You think there's more to it? Or
Well,
you think-
there might be. I mean, you may be right. Maybe it's just I'm overthinking the problem. I just think
the only thing the parents have in common, they don't do much talking. The only thing the parents have in common is that they like having sex with each other. Cooper and Ainsley can't get their disdain for each other out of their system. Tommy and Angela don't necessarily really like each other, although Angela's second guessing what emotion and life and love means, because she has thrown away a bigger fish to get back with Tommy, who's still more than wealthy enough. We see City of Industry stuff. We see the oil field at work. We see that Nathan has gotten to the bottom of things. Here's the Ainsley and Cooper confrontation. She's out there doing her TCU frog cheer, which makes her seem like a total idiot. But the thing is, we see them going in totally different directions. She's going to live to be 100. She's into being healthy. She tells him he shouldn't smoke. She tells him he's a loser and an idiot for not bothering to graduate from college. And, like, I'm not making a case for college. I'm making a case for people who've passed their midterms and have 4 weeks of school left finishing school. He was done. His dropping out of school was stupid. Although her disdain for her brother is almost disgusting. She is hateful towards him. And the only thing that makes it justifiable is he's got just as much hatred for her. He can't stand Ainsley. And they exchange venomous reverse compliments. Guys, thoughts on their sibling dynamic? Well, if no one wants to take the jump ball, I'll just throw the ball right at Germ.
It seems pretty routine for siblings. It's the way I've had siblings, so nothing big there. But yeah, they are basically clones of their parents, and they can't screw their way out of those problems like their parents do.
It's Texas. It might not be illegal, but they probably shouldn't break the laws of God. Okay. Radioactive, the thoughts on the sibling dynamic. And we can hear Resolute Germ's neighbor is not as lonely tonight as most.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of why they're so angry at each other. Because they're like, separated by about 4 years, right? So she's just entering
Maybe
college.
a little
He
more.
would have exited college.
Yeah.
So they would have
yeah,
had,
you're right. They pinned it because she was a senior when he was a college senior. So it's just about exactly 4 years.
Yeah, so there wouldn't have been a whole lot of overlap in a way between the two in terms of rivalry that I could think of.
Angela has a really predictable menstrual cycle. You think Tommy called his shot like Babe Ruth? He's like, I'm going to have another kid with you today. He's like, why are you pointing that baseball bat over to the left side of the bed? Says, don't worry about it, baby. I'm just getting my sperm on the same page. But, yeah. What do you think of my clones of the parents theory?
Oh,
Parents hate
yeah,
each
that's
other.
probably right. I mean, I don't doubt that for a minute. I just find it a bit peculiar, that's all.
All right, let's move up to Crimlon. Crimlon, what was your take on this? Not so touching, not so family, not so reunion. Cooper and Ainsley are as far apart as if they're like half siblings or cousins.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on it. Other than the fact that she's just a brainless breeder. Not much else going on in that head.
He's got some traits and he's likable, and she doesn't really have any traits and she's not.
Yeah, well, she's got traits. She's got traits in the right places, but as far as physically goes, but everywhere else, nah.
This week, she managed to stay away from accidentally endorsing eugenics and taking the wrong side in World War II. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the end of the Landman Show. This is the part of the panel where the panel gives their grades for the episode and says what they think about the show so far and whether or not they're looking forward to next week. I will go last, but we will start with my good friend.
One more
Resolute
thing.
Germ. Yes, sir.
One more thing.
Sir.
You have to show the cameo.
Oh,
Tommy
I
and Cooper
forgot.
at the very end.
So Tommy and Cooper have a very controversial conversation about the Sonrisa Loan Corporation, which has written the loans at a very generous but slightly predatory rate that makes no sense. It's almost like they don't care if the well's hit. They just want the land in the patch. And they have Nathan do all this work, and he digs up who's running it, and here it is. It is, and did we get the right moment here? It is Andy Garcia. He is the head of Sunrisa Loans and Sunrisa Petroleum Services. He has started a legal front corporation. So basically all the Sicario drug money that's been flowing through this area and flowing through his organization has been used to finance Tommy's son. Guess what? If we can debt service him out of it, he's gone, but he owns the surface rights. He doesn't give a shit about the oil. He's acquiring his drug trade route. It's insane, and it makes sense, and it fits with stuff that goes all the way back to season 1, episode 1, scene 1. I like how they pull the tale together here. I think this is good progress for Landman. I'm going to start with Resolute Germ. Now that thank you for reminding me of our bombshell ending. And so that's what it is. Welcome to the end of the show. We just watched season 2, episode 2 of Landman. It's called Sins of the Father. The title, once again, really lived up to the episode. It was literally what the episode was about. And Germ, give me your A through F grade and tell me what you thought of this episode.
The episode is definitely an A. I like how they worked in Andy Garcia there at the end. It's going to be a interesting way how Tommy can get Cooper out of money laundering charges.
Well, I mean, his part of it seems clean. It's that I think what he wants is he just doesn't want him in business with a life-taking Sicario. It's not so much money laundering. I think the Sicario is just like, if anyone's laundering money, it's Andy Garcia. He has enough deniability. It's not like Tommy and Andy Garcia have a contract.
No, but Cooper is a liable party in the money laundering.
I've kind of got a slight theory. Maybe it's just a hunch, just because of the way that the girl kicked him out of the house. It kind of almost makes me wonder if she's got ties directly to him.
Whoa, that's
Uncle Andy.
That's a thought there. Well, remember, Andy Garcia is a powerful actor. We believe that he's Mexican here, even though Andy himself is Cuban. So he's really, acting his ass off. Okay. Your final thoughts and grade on this episode. Sure.
I'd give it overall an A. Not quite as high as last week's episode, but still very, very good. Hopefully, I'm suspecting the season will stay about that A or B level, so really looking forward to it.
So you're looking forward to next week. All right, great, perfect. Thank you for your grade. Next goes my good friend Radioactive. Sir, we had a very enjoyable hour of TV here, in my opinion, but I would like to get your grade on this, and whether or not you're looking forward to next week and what you think about it so far. Miss Katana gives it an A-. Guys, put your grades in the chat if you want, but you also have a chance to vote. We'll get the aggregate and we'll get your opinions.
I'm gonna say it's like an A- for me this episode. A little bit downstream from last week. Last week started out pretty strong. This week it's slightly weaker, but only because I just found the whole senior care storyline to be kind of weak.
It was contrived, but it was at least I felt they earned it by having it be that funny. But okay.
I didn't find it as funny as you did, I guess, this time. Last week I thought was really good. I was hoping
they were hilarious last week.
Yeah, I was hoping for maybe more of the college storyline, but the ending, the surprise ending, I knew this is where they were going as soon as Cooper mentioned about midway through the episode his financial arrangements. I'm going, oh, this has got to be tying back into Sicarios.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't sure who was.
I wasn't terribly surprised at the ending, but that's okay. I mean, they needed to roll him back into the show, and now we know how he connects back into the show, which I think
Andy's
is good.
A great actor.
So, I think this is going to be interesting.
I want to thank the Dead Man for the $1.99 United States Super Chat. You know what? It's not a sticker, but I'll do it anyway. Unicorn! What is that? What? Why not? It's fun. Wasn't there a TNG episode called Sins of the Father? Indeed there was. Was that the one with the half Romulan guy? There's a couple of half Romulan people who show up. I forget which Sins of the Father was.
It was the one where Worf's father was on trial.
Ah, thank you. I was going to say, did Jack Crusher maybe do something? It's like, John Luke, have sex with my wife for me. And it's like, Wesley, that's something you need to know about who your father actually is. But okay. Thank you, the Dead Man, for supporting the fleet with a super chat, as Buddy has mentioned. And he's way ahead of us on the TNG lore. But yeah, I was pretty sure whose picture was going to be on this piece of paper. So, you looking forward to next week, sir? Radioactive?
Oh, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing next week.
Thoughts on where we are so far this season, briefly?
We're in a good place. I think it's staying strong. I think we're doing well.
You have done well, my friend. All right, Crimwan, now it's your turn to give your opinion on this. What did you think of this week's episode, and how much did you enjoy it? And guys, hit those like and follows. We want to try to make it hit 30. It's kind of a personal goal. Crimwan, what did you think of this week's episode? What grade do you give it, and what's your final thoughts?
Ooh, this one's a hard one for me. I'm kind of hovering between B+ and A-, and it's mostly to do with the old folks home cringe stuff that went on. I think it took away from the rest of the storyline.
Really? They cringed too hard, huh?
I think
they rubbed the cringe stone a little too hard.
I feel like they reached. I think the girls can be funny. The problem was I almost got it just came off with just a more of they pushed too hard type feeling.
No, Teague, it's time to sing.
I realize, I just saw that. I want to thank my good friend, Miskatonic Madman, for a very generous $10 American super chat. And that means you get to hear the greatest Teague Garrican hero. Look what's happening to Teague. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly people are sending him pairs. It's gotta be good for his health. Believe it or not, it's a flying pair. I never thought one get sent to me. He flying away, 'cause there's wings on that pair. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just Teague. All right! Thank you, Miskatonic Madman. I super appreciate your very generous $10 United States Super Chat. It's very much underwriting this moment of the show. And I think we also need a moment of media. What do you think, Tuva?
Does anyone see that this is wrong?
I don't care. We're going to play Bacon Spock real quick. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't know what to say. You guys are the best. You're really generous, and you're a great channel. And you know what? Like, I guess you deserve this one. You ready? It's like, I suppose you should know who you're dealing with. Where is it? Come on, go. That's how many other YouTubers will make a douchey face on camera for you to show that they're in fact evil when they play the Romulan music? I mean, you know what? Anything for you guys. Miskatonic, thank you for a very generous super chat. All right, so Crimwan, is it an A- or a B+?
Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to be the negative one this week. B+.
All right. But was there a high point or something that stuck out in your mind about this episode?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. For some reason, I really did like the office scene where what's her name just
Rebecca?
drilled into the rest of the lawyers.
Yeah, it's like always like a red on red attack. It's just like I don't care about any of these fucking people. It's a bunch of predatory lawyers, and they start tearing each other the fuck apart, and it's really hilarious. And again, thank you, Miss Katonic. I super appreciate you underwriting this part of the show. I was in no way surprised when I saw Andy Garcia. All right, so Kremlin gives it a B+. You know what? I'm going to give my take on this one now. Here we go. You know what? This was an A for an episode 2. It was not as good as last week's episode, but last week's episode was like a jaw-dropping, all over the place, crazy episode 1 that caught us up with every character almost perfectly. And if anything, the old folks home, let's have that be the last time. They did get arrested there. It seems like we've worked that joke for the last time, but I thought it was a good episode. The highlight of the episode was the low light of the episode. The old folks home was the zenith and the nadir of it. It was hilarious when she beats up the old folks home people, but not quite the scene where it happens so much as when Tommy gets the FaceTime call from the sheriff, who can't stop laughing while he's picking out a coffin and just acting like Mr. Chain-Smoking Texas Madman. And it's just like, maybe you should switch to decaf cigarettes. So in context of where the season is, I give it an A as an episode 2. It definitely is a step down from last week. Sam Elliott was not the high point or the low point, but just another powerful moment in a series of powerful moments. Even Ariana managed to be fairly powerful this week, although I thought she was a flaky bitch. Her outlook and attitude on this whole thing is getting harder to understand, as she has nothing but things to gain from the fact that she basically got in this deep knowing that Cooper loves her. You know what? Thank you for the super chat. I give this an A. I have to play this. I have to play it. Come on. It's been called for. Here we go.
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
And it would seem like that's the case if you are Andy Garcia as well. The word decent just did not apply to him. He got his hands on this loan through nefarious methods. He went in somehow. Seems like he's just trying to buy up the patch. I again give it an A+. The Dead Man, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Unicorn. And Buddy right there thanking him for me. I thought this was a great rug pull to end the episode and sets us up really well for future episodes. Next week, I predict that we will probably skip the funeral altogether and just deal with the aftermath, because these coffin flipping bitches, I think it could go into really super bad taste or be just, I don't know. Like, what do you think, guys? Before we step out of here, are they going to have a nuts funeral, or are we going to skip right over it next week? It seems like it's one or the other. Radioactive, go ahead.
You know, now that I think about it, probably best that they do skip it.
I think we're going to see them walk out. Grimlon, what do you think? Will we see this funeral, or are we just going to walk out? Like, well,
I'm hoping they just walk out, but I got a feeling it's going to be Jerry Springer level.
If these people get together, they will act like Jerry Springer's friends. Jerem, what do you think? Will we see this funeral, or are we just going to start by having it be in the past and everyone's going to have the problems they have?
There'll be some craziness around the funeral, but the funeral itself, I think, is just going to be a small little montage. You'll show the family near the coffin, and
so like hugging, handshaking, silent montage, some music, and then it's over.
At most, I think Sam Elliott will have a monologue at the funeral.
I'm thinking that like this will lead to some sort of meeting of all parties where Cammy will be at least be present and interact with Thomas, who she may well know because she knows him for so long. But that's it. That's our Landman review for this week. We thought it was an excellent episode. Germ gave it an A. Radioactive gave it an A-. Crimlon gave it a B+. And Admiral gave it an A. We thought it was good TV, well worth watching. Thanks for everyone who was at the watch party. And thanks for everybody who's been here. If you haven't, you hit the like and follow buttons. If you come through later, you're the lifeblood of this channel. I thank you. Leave me a Landman question. Ask me a Landman comment. I will get back to you. Send me an emoji to celebrate Landman. anything. And consider coming back for the best Star Trek show ever on Saturday nights at 10. Jerm, what do you got going on this week on your channel?
Well, tomorrow we have the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Cool.
And Wednesday we'll have another random round table. Saturday, of course, we'll have the Saving Star Trek pre-show. We enter the Soon saga for the final season of Star Trek Enterprise, and we'll have Landman again right before next week's Landman Live.
Please support Jerb. His channel is at the bottom of my channel's homepage on the recommend tab. Please follow him. The watch parties almost always take place there. If not, I do them on my second channel and on X. And I thank everybody who's come by to the Landman Show. Krimlon and Radioactive will be back with me. We now go off to do our various villainous deeds where we plan to take over the world through the use of petrochemicals. Anyway, you know her, you love her, you earned her. You should get some Sydney Sweeney at the end of this episode. And wow, what a rug pull with Andy Garcia being the one holding the note on this. I think he's trying to go legitimate. Here she is, Sydney Sweeney. Sean made this video. We should play this first because she looks hot in the picture. Here we go.
Incoming Sydney Sweeney video. Set burners to full. Lubrication supply sufficient for projected fapping level. Paper towels to standby. Turbo lift door secured and locked. Wives and girlfriend interruption probability at 12%. You may commence masturbatory actions at any time.
Before I finish, I'll just point out that if you showed that to Tommy, what he would say is like, have fun with your fancy water-based lube. It's in a petrochemical container, you motherfucking phony. All right, we love you all. Thank you for being at the Landman Show, and here it is, Sydney Sweeney.